So thanks for joining me, guys. This is a practical coaching session. We're going to talk about FSBOs. We're going to talk about how to find them, where to find them. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. You have to run any ads. We're going to talk about how to handle the toughest objections they give you, how to convert them in this market right now. Now, here's how this whole thing started. And of course, I will have an invitation for you. As you know, we just opened the registration for our bootcamp. If you want to check it out, it's a FSBO Bootcamp. We're going to spend 4 weeks together in 4 live sessions, Zoom sessions. I will help you together. We're going to build your FSBO system. But that comes later. If you want to join, fantastic. If not, this will be a lot of value today, I promise you. Ask questions. Let me know what I can help you with. And we start with this. What is the toughest FSBO objection you got, where you got stuck? Okay, we're going to start with that. Post it in the comments. I will make sure I will address as many as I possibly can. Now, the reason I wanted to call this session is I had a call with one of my students, and she said, you know what, I don't work FSBOs anymore. They all sell. I'm like, really? I know some do. Statistically, I've been tracking these statistics for many years. But all, really? He says, yes. Like, all right, how many did you talk to? She said 3. So she was willing to bet her entire business, her income, let me fix this carpet so I don't trip, her income, her future of her family, on 3 conversations. That's crazy. And yes, some FSBOs sell. Yes, some FSBOs do sell because the market is crazy hot, right? Listings are in high demand. But don't buy into that. 3 conversations mean nothing. And I'll show you today that even though they may think they're in advantage, they're really not. So we're going to run some numbers. I'm going to show you some... So the presentation, of course, will be rated R. You guys know me. Don't even show 2 slides. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Where to find motivated FSBO seller leads right now in today's market. And how to address, when you get in a conversation with them, the toughest objections. And this is like, we can sell without you. It's a hot market. You hear a variation of that, right? We don't want to list, just bring us a buyer. Very common these days. My cousin is an agent. We're going to go with him. How will you get us more money? Any of these sound familiar? Yes? Do you have a buyer for me, Edwin? Yes, exactly. That's one of them. Edwin says, do you have a buyer for me? Very common. All right. So, we're going to address it. So let's start with this. Where do I find them first? I mean, you need to find them, get in conversation with them. This is as of this morning. I jumped on our good friend Zillow. Yeah, of course, I'm being sarcastic. And look at this. Anybody in Austin, Texas? Any of my students, any of you guys, any rock stars in Austin, Texas? Look at that. There are right now 97 for sale by owners in Austin. Good opportunity, right? If you know how to approach them, if you have a right system, right communication, you're going to convert some of them into listings. Right now, if you are in Orlando, Florida, any of my friends in Orlando, Florida, look at that. 101 FSBOs waiting to be scooped up. Here's another one. Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. 119 for sale by owners. Now think about it. Do you think some of these people end up being good listings, good clients? Of course. Of course. And if you think, let's be really conservative, and let's say half of these 119 are either disguised agents who do some shenanigans, sellers who are not motivated, or these properties have already been listed. So you still have 60 chances to score a good listing if you're in Vegas, and new ones are hitting Zillow every day. If you jump on a website like FSBO.com, look at that. This is just in my area right now. 21 homes for sale by owner. And that's just in my little piece of the world in Northern Virginia. Look at this. Craigslist lists 109 right now. Within 15 miles around me. Lots of opportunities all around you. There was a time when Zillow for a while pulled out the phone numbers. They are back now. So you have people who are raising their hand saying, I want to sell now. I'm ready to sell now. But think about it. With the right approach, you can help these people. You can show them you're going to make more money. Now, of course, you can't just go out and say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to make more money. List with me. That's what most agents do. Please don't do that. But the reality is they will. And I'll show you. We're going to put it right here on the board. And you tell me if it's going to make sense to you. Jackie says, can you check Somerville, South Carolina? Jackie, just jump on Zillow. Type in homes for sale and just turn off listed homes, turn on for sale by owners in the search. And you'll be surprised how many you're going to have in your neighborhood. Okay? Check it out. There's a lot of opportunities. Now, what I'm curious about this dude here, I don't know what that artwork means. Is he drinking or is he like looking at something, bottle or something? He's drinking, driving him crazy, this whole business of for sale by owner. All right, so now look, we are in Austin, Texas, 79 for sale by owners. And you telling me there are no opportunities to list homes? Bullshit. Bullshit. A lot of them. Like this one. Look at these pictures. This is how they market their home. This is how they think they're going to get it sold. Now, notice what's below the price. Do you guys see it? Right there. Right there. Price increase $8,000. Well, honey, we got them fancy pictures, them color pictures I took with that fancy iPhone. We better raise the price. Look at these pictures. I mean, you need glasses just to focus. That's crazy. This is what they think we're going to get their property sold. See, friends, they need you. They just don't know it. They think this will get the job done. Isn't that crazy? Now, all you have to do is go into the details, scroll down. There it is right there in front of you. Pick up the phone, talk to them. And in about 2 minutes, now if you jump on board, I'm going to show you, you're going to get the system called Core Influence, how to talk to for sale by owners, how not to piss them off, how not to push them away. But you got the phone number right there, the contact information said, the address is there, you can go visit, you can call them, you can text them, there are all kinds of things you can do. And that's what the smart agents are doing right now. You already know the money's in the listing. I'm showing you right now on a silver platter. You don't have to run any expensive campaigns. You don't have to build any complicated systems. You don't have to waste thousands of dollars. None of that. It's right there in front of you. It requires the right system and the skills. That's the secret, my friends. Because at the end, these folks will list. Why not with you? You owe it to them. You owe it to yourself. And if you tell me, well, Borino, FSBOs are tough. I don't want to work FSBOs. What you're telling me is I don't have the skill to work FSBOs because that's all it requires. No talent. I learned the hard way. This is not a matter of talent. This is a matter of skill. You need to develop a skill, communication skill, follow-up skill, confidence skill. Because you already know real estate. You know how to list a house. You know how to sell it. So it's a matter of communicating and building trust with these people. Because if you put yourself in a FSBO situation, yes, they can be abrupt. Yes, they can be rude. Yes, they can be cold. Yes, they can be emotional. But think about it. They're getting bombarded by speculators, investors, and shitty agents who are reciting some script they got at the Mike Ferry seminar 20 years ago, and everybody says the same thing. And everybody is telling you, Mr. and Mrs. FSBO, what you're doing is stupid. It's wrong. You should be listing with me. Now, how do you like when somebody tells you what you're doing is dumb? Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to be told they're wrong. You may be right about it, that it's a dumb idea, but you have to be more elegant, more persuasive, understanding their psychology, before you can go out and say it. And you can say it in a very friendly, logical, and emotionally connected way with respect. That's how you win them over. You with me so far? All right, yeah, Miriam is right. List to exist, exactly. This does not require any complicated, expensive campaigns. You don't need any sleazy, pushy tactics. You don't need to be aggressive at all. On contrary, aggressive approach will only push them away. Just like you don't want to be manipulated, you don't want to be sold. You like when people are transparent. I mean, think about it. Right at the beginning, I told you, we're going to go over some cool stuff. You're going to learn some new cool stuff. At the end, I'm going to invite you to do the FSBO Bootcamp with me. Straightforward. I'm very transparent with you. But I'm also giving you a lot of value. I walk the walk because you're going to deploy the same strategy with FSBO. You're going to be very transparent with them. You're going to tell them, hey, if this doesn't work out, I'd love to apply for the job. But let's just give it a shot first. Same concept. You're cool. You're kind with them. You're helpful with them. And you're still high status. You don't suck up to them, you don't kiss up their ass, you don't do any of that. You also don't push them and manipulate them. None of that is necessary. You don't need complicated systems. This is not like 7 Zapiers, need to connect to this, need to connect that. None of that. A good CRM is really all you need. There's no long follow-up. I mean, in fact, they're already on the market. How motivated do you want them to be? Now, yes, with that said, this does require some work. This is not like you sit on your butt, put a nice ad there, and 50 people knock on your door saying, come list me. Doesn't work that way, but it can be very profitable. I'll show you how. It can be also simple, fast, and now. This is now business. This is not a year from now. This is not like when you door knock or you run ads on Facebook where it's going to take months and months and months to convert. This happens now because you're dealing with people who you know where they live, you know who they are, and you know they want to sell. That's as easy as it can be. You can get on Zillow right now. I have dozens and dozens of leads right now. You saw the evidence, right? Now that's why I teach this now. It took me years to figure this shit out. And it took me forever to figure out this is not based on selling, this is based on psychology. And now I'm privileged to be called, it's kind of self-serving pat on the back. I'm a guru now. But nobody else teaches this based on the psychology, based on the kindness, based on relation. This is relationship marketing is what I teach. Not the traditional selling that you're going to hear from some coach who never sold a house in their life. And I know what I'm talking about. Now brace yourself. What you're going to experience, if you haven't already, is that drunken monkey, that little voice that will tell you, I tried this and didn't work, or I heard this and I don't think it's going to work. Don't let that monkey ruin your 2021 chance to become a rockstar agent with a lot of income, because that's what I'm inviting you to do. This is not just about taking listings. This is way more than that. This is building a lifestyle and having the freedom. And it's going to be that little voice more than anything that's going to sway you to stay in your comfort zone. And the reason I know all that, because the picture you see is me. That's Mr. Borino, fancy coach, in his Cadillac DeVille 1981 Rust Bucket. That was my house, where I was homeless because I was fighting it. I was sitting in a seminar. I was sitting in a coaching session when somebody says, you should do this, guy. And because my fear kicked in and told me, it's uncomfortable, I don't want to get rejection, I don't want to talk to people, blah, 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 I don't want to bother people. That was the result. I know you're not going to get homeless. But I also know that if you step out of the comfort zone with the right system and the right tools, you can have the lifestyle. That's what got me. No talent, just systems plus skills. And I want that for you. Whatever that is. You want to put kids through good college, you want to put money aside, you want to pay off some debt, you want to buy a new house, whatever it is. It's all out there. And the hardest part for me is not to teach you real estate. Friends, listen to me. The hardest part for me is to convey to you, to inspire you that you can have it. It's out there. It's going to require work, it's going to require some effort, it's going to require some learning, but it's out there. That is the hardest part. So, watch this. It says, I watched your video yesterday. Today was my first time doing a FSBO call, and I used the script in my first 2 calls, set up an appointment to view both homes. 2 appointments just by watching this kind of training. That's all it takes. This is Taryn, called FSBO my very first time, and I got a preview appointment, nothing complicated. Very helpful video. Thank you, Borino. So I know how to teach you this stuff. I can show you that it really is just a sequence of steps. Because look at this. This is hilarious. This is a $380,000 house that the seller for sale by owner was holding open. This is their open house sign. This is what they think is effective marketing. This is why when you come in with skilled presentation, good marketing, good advice, where you hold their hand and walk them through, well, okay, we are in a quarantine, no holding hands. But other than that, you demonstrate to them what it takes to sell the house, and you're going to see in just a moment how overwhelmed they get pretty soon. Actual comment from a FSBO. You're going to understand your service is so valuable. Think, this is the first impression they make about our house if they don't know how to even put a decent open house together. What else are they hiding? Where else do they need help? Here's the thing. You need to do the opposite of what average agents do. Those who are not here on this training do other stuff. So what do? Canned scripts. Please don't do canned scripts. You're going to be immediately labeled as just another salesperson. Stay away. No memorizing scripts at all. What I teach, what the core influence, and you will have a chance to get it, is a conversation marketing, conversation prospecting, where you treat people with respect like human beings and they treat you with respect back. Some will do business with you, some won't. But the relationship is based on trust, respect. No pressure and no closing. Those tactics are out the window. Please don't do that. No convincing them. The moment you try convincing is like arm wrestling. The moment you start bringing up the idea that it's a dumb, they're going to lose money, it's better with you, it's say all these reasons, you're right. But the timing is not. The delivery is not. And that is just as important as the message. So no convincing. No fake, oh, I'm here to help, but I really want the listing. Don't do that. Some FSBO book or FSBO package where agents depend on printed marketing, some cheesy marketing materials to do the job for them. No brochure will build a relationship with the seller. You will, and I'll show you how. And here is a big mistake. They give up too soon. They hear, oh, we already have an agent, or we're going to go with our cousin, or we have a buyer. And they give up. Friends, please write this down. This is important. This is one of the most important I'm going to give you, most important ideas I'm going to give you today. I learned the hard way. This cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in commissions, no joke. I'm not exaggerating, a lot of money. What the seller says and what the seller ends up doing are very often 2 very different things. What they tell you, especially at the beginning when they're very optimistic that they're going to sell on their own, and what they end up doing at the end. Two very different things very often. And if you lost listings, many of you have, right? Can you relate to that? You know what I'm talking about. So stay away from these mistakes. Very, very important. Are you making any of these? Stop. Stop. They want your help. Think about it. Do you like cookies? I love cookies, man. I gotta tell you. Girl Scout cookies. Ugh. I mean, I got the Peloton. I'm trying to stay in shape, but you show up with Girl Scout cookies at our door, I'm buying the whole load. Doesn't matter how much. People like Girl Scout cookies, right? Now, before the COVID, how do people sell Girl Scout cookies? How do Girl Scouts sell them? Door to door. Nobody gets pissed off at Girl Scouts knocking on your door. You welcome them. Why? Because we want what the girls sell. We want the cookies. They're nice. They're good. Same with for sale by owners. It is not just about the money. You represent not just financial benefit, and I'll show you. We're going to break it down. The reality is FSBO want to sell. They want help. And you have what they want. You have the insight, you have the experience, you have the guidance, you have the solutions, you have the answers, and you have more money, and you may not even know it. Or maybe you do, maybe you just don't have a way to present it to the seller the right way. Let me show you, demonstrate this. Watch this. Lauren just posted this here on Rockstars yesterday. Hey, I'm sorry we are going to cancel. She was supposed to show the property to the buyer, to the for sale by owner. She had a buyer for it, and the for sale by owner texted, I'm going to cancel. I can't handle all the overwhelming questions and people. This is too much. See what I mean? It's too much for them. It's a lot. You know what it takes to get a property sold. It's a lot of fucking work. Where do you think this gray hair came from? It's too much. And the idea would be like this, totally respect what listen, this is how I totally respect what agents have to deal with. So now imagine you walk in and with respect, with authority, you demonstrate not only are you better off with an agent, I'm the right agent for the job. My wife just wants to list with the house wants to list the house so that the route we were going to go. Boom. Another opportunity. Lauren should jump on it. This is a great opportunity. And I'll show you in a little bit later how you address these. We have an agent. We already go with an agent. Teresa, one of my students, just listed a $750,000 FSBO on Friday using Borino's advice. They just emailed me yesterday letting me know they had 2 land listings. They want me to list as well for another $350,000. So now we're at $1 million. One phone call, no pressure. I've completely changed the way I approach sellers and it's working. Thanks, Borino. So $1 million in inventory, that's a nice chunk of cash. That's what, about $30,000? I'll take that. So what is the secret? The secret is in conversations. You treat them like human beings. You listen, you ask the right questions. The FSBO system and the core influence system you will be able to get has a whole bunch of them. There are like 87 different questions you can ask that build this relationship, build this trust. Marjana posted, let me give it to you in a real example, real life example. Hi everybody, Happy New Year. I have a question to you guys and to our coach Borino. I was trying to talk to one of the FSBOs in my neighborhood. For a long time I was unsuccessful and today I tried again, called them and left voicemail message. This is an answer I received via text message. Hi, thank you for your interest. I won't be showing the house until the spring. I will update the information on Zillow. One feature important to see is the house has no basement. I'm selling the property by owner. If you have potential buyer, you must get the commission from them. When I'm ready to show the house, I will announce it. You will be welcome to bring qualified clients ready to purchase a home then. Please advise me how to deal with that seller. Now, what was interesting is if you saw the post here on Rockstars, there were about 12, 15, 20 comments, something like that. All of them pretty unanimously says, walk away. The initial gut reaction to all of it is this seller is a jerk and you shouldn't work with them. And I'm saying, hold on. Not so fast. Not so fast. Remember what I said earlier. What they say and what they end up doing can be 2 very different things. And what they need to go is through the process of selling, getting the taste, like the previous seller, you saw that in Lauren's post. Once they get the taste of it, once they realize this, something is not right here, this is a lot of work, this is not what we expected, the tune can change. Are you with me? So don't jump too quickly to these silly conclusions because here is a client who doesn't even know how complex it can be, how dangerous it can be, how legally troublesome it can be, and how they're exposing themselves to all kinds of speculators, investors, shysters, crooks. And there are people out there who prey on for sale by owners because these are civilians, friends. These people don't know what it takes. They don't understand the legalities. They don't know that one little checkbox on a purchase contract can completely change the outcome of the transaction. You and I know that, but they don't. So don't be so quick. This seller can be a great seller. This can be a great listing, and with the right approach, I would totally go for it. And you know why? Because with this attitude, this seller will push away most of my competition automatically. I would say, ha, thank you. And I'll give it my best shot. And I would totally go for it. And I tell you, with the right nurture, with the right approach, with being helpful, not being attached to the commission, not being attached to the outcome, very often the seller says, you know what, this shit is not working. Let's talk. You've been helpful. You didn't try to pressure us. You didn't try to influence us. You didn't try to do anything other than be helpful, cool, be our resource. Why do you think they would go with somebody else? If they trust me, if they like me, if they realize they're in better hands with an agent, and not to mention they're going to make more money, as you see in just a second. Does that make sense? Edwin has a very good question. As a matter of fact, let me just go through this, Edwin, and I'll get to it, because this is important. I want to show you. Number one, part one, the math. Where is the money? Where is the money? So now watch. Check this out. See if this makes sense. You have a $300,000 house, okay? That's for sale by owner. And then you have a listed house. And just for the sake of easy math, we're going to say that's a $300,000 house. And you're a qualified buyer. And buyers these days, pretty savvy, they're educated, they go online, they know what they're doing, right? Very often, they know more than agents. Not you guys, you're rock stars. Okay, so now watch. If I'm a buyer, and I look at two properties, and I know this one is listed, and just for the sake of easy math, the seller is paying 5%. What's the first logical question I have here? I'm like, okay, where is this 5%, which in this case is what? $15,000, right? Can you guys see it? Are we in shot? Yeah, good. So $15,000, I'm like, hold on a second. Where's the $15,000 going here? This seller is not paying commission. This seller is trying to pocket the 15 grand. So if I'm a savvy buyer, as many are, I know market is hot and the demand is hot, but that doesn't make people stupid. I would be like, wait a second. This seller is trying to pocket the 15 grand. In other words, I'm paying the seller a commission for a service I'm not getting. Nay, nay, nay. That makes no sense. So what is the first thing a logical, savvy buyer would do? Subtract the 15,000, but that's the ending price he's willing to pay. So that's $290, $285, right? So I would like to buy this house for $285 to end with, but that's not what I'm going to offer. I'm going to negotiate a little bit. Are you with me so far? So if I'm an intelligent, smart, savvy buyer, I already see that I can save 15 grand. That's what makes that FSBO attractive, not the new kitchen. I can always put in a new kitchen. For 15,000 here, I can do a lot of that. You with me? So now, who's going to save the money? The seller? Or the buyer with all the money? Who's going to write the check at the end? You with me? So the FSBO will not pocket, in most cases, the commission. This is what they're trying to do. Are you with me? Is this making sense, guys? I don't want to move further because it's clear they're not the same property. From a buyer's perspective, this cannot be the same price. Think. Where is the money going to go? Now, you cannot save the commission twice. It's going to go to the buyer or to the seller. Why would I pay as a savvy buyer to the seller? Didn't think of it that way, did you? Is that good? So now, let's look at Maha's comment. Hi, Borino. I want to ask you about a FSBO follow-up system. Do you offer to do an open house for them? Or what kind of help can we show them that offers them as an example of being helpful and not coming across as pushy agent? Great question, Maha. I would recommend, once you have a relationship with a for sale by owner, you can absolutely do an open house, and some of my students do more than just an open house. They're just being cool and helpful. Silvana wanted to know, what have you done to help a FSBO? So at the end, you get the listing. Jackie posted, my student again, showed them to post on Zillow, answered questions when they were presented with a low offer, send them 2 free tickets to our local home garden show. After 3 months, a FSBO, they felt they weren't reaching enough people. I listed the condo this past Monday, and they accepted an offer yesterday after having 10 showings in 5 days. We are all extremely pleased. Bam, done. Now, it took 3 months, so what? If you keep stuffing the pipeline, depending on their urgency and motivation, it may take a few weeks, sometimes a few days, sometimes a few months. But at the end, Jackie scored a happy client. Now watch this. She genuinely helped. That was not that pretend help where you say, well, I don't want them really to sell on their own. I do. If I can help them, I will help them. But I will also demonstrate to them, and I'll show you another set of math that will make sense to you, that they're better off. They're going to, in most cases, pocket more money with you. Friends, just look at it from a logical perspective. If going for sell by owner really was that profitable, it really was that easy, if it really was a better idea for the consumer, the real estate industry would change completely. There would be no need for agents like you. There'd be no need for this industry. And why is that? And if you drive through the neighborhood, 95, 98% of the homes are still listed with an agent. Why is that? Because it makes more sense. It's safer, it produces more money, as you already saw. And I'll show you another evidence. I'll show you another example. Are you with me so far? All of this you're going to learn how to demonstrate this, how to communicate this. The Borino system and the bootcamp we're going to go. If you want to check out the bootcamp, you can go and sign up for it. You have 18 pieces of follow-up, 18 different items that you're going to discuss, help the seller, assist them, and in that process, you're going to position yourself as the authority. Yeah? Because that's the idea. Trust and authority. Let's go back to this example. I was supposed to show the FSBO on Saturday morning to my buyers, and the seller just messaged me and canceled. Apparently, he can handle it. They tried to get a listing appointment, but he stated, this is important, he stated, his wife has a friend who is an agent. How many of you have heard we have a friend in the business? If we're going to list with our friend. Or similar objections like, friend has a license, we have an agent, we're getting buyers, we don't need you. You've heard those, right? Now, I call bullshit. I call bullshit on those. Here's what I mean. If it really was such a good friend, would that friend let them go for sell by owner, knowing they're not going to get the same amount of money? It's a big legal hassle. It's a big hassle to show the property, especially these days with the COVID and all that. It makes everything more complicated. There's protocol to all of that. Would you go, your close friend or your mom, go for sell by owner? Of course not. You would help them. So it's one of two things it's possible. Either the relationship is not as good as they try to convince you it is. That's number one. Or number two, that agent may not be that good. There must be something about that agent that is like, nah, not so great. So the way you handle it, you acknowledge it, as with all of these objections. You're going to learn a process in the Borino. First step is you always acknowledge it. You don't pretend you didn't hear it, but you don't try to solve it on the spot. Never, ever do that. This is not the time or a place, because the moment you start creating that pressure, where you start solving the objection, handling the objection right away, you're going to get resistance. And you're going to immediately notice how they feel you're trying to convince them. Don't do that. Remember the rule we showed earlier, no convincing. So you simply acknowledge it first. Good for you. It's always good to have somebody you can trust. And now I follow up with a strategy called QAQ, question, answer, question. QAQ. And I ask another question. I answered the objection and I follow up with a question. So where are you guys going to go? Have you picked the house yet? So I acknowledge it, don't necessarily need to handle it. Why? Because I know one thing. What they say they're going to do and what they end up doing are very often two very different things. So I don't react, I respond. Here is what it is. The seller says, we will probably list with a friend. Here's what they really mean. We will list with our friend unless a better agent comes along. Because at the end, friend, they're looking for someone who can provide the certainty that they're the best choice. Somebody they trust. Now, the reason they trust a friend better is because they usually know them longer, they've been around with them, they know each other, so there is more trust. So what I focus on is not to knock the friend or not to demonstrate my abilities, but to continue building that relationship so I can reach the same level of trust. And with certain skill and certain components that go into these conversations, part of it is psychology, part of it is neurolinguistic programming. You can accelerate that process. It can be architected. Okay? Think about it. Would you go to a friend who is a dentist if she's not a very good dentist? Would you? Would you go to your friend because he's a friend or she's a friend? I wouldn't, and I'm chicken when it comes to dentists. You go to the best dentist you can. If your friend is not that great, you wouldn't go. Now, what if your friend is the best dentist in town? You would go, but just like with the example about real estate, that friend would have never let them go for sold by owner in the first place. Does this all make sense? So here's the math part 2. How do you get them more money? Let me demonstrate that. And again, with the right presentation, you can very easily show them the facts. It does require one thing that's called pre-framing. You would pre-frame it something like, well, Jim, you strike me as a person who really makes logical decisions and wants to save as much money as possible. Savvy seller, we call it. And I very much appreciate it about you. So let me show you. And then you demonstrate. So first, let me show you the math. Let's say the same house is at $300,000, okay? Now, you ask the seller, are you cooperating with agents? And most of them will say yes. So they're willing to pay 3%, okay? So they're willing already to, for the sake of math, your commission may be 2 or 3, whatever it is. So 3% is $9,000, am I right? Yes. So we're down to $291,000, okay? Now, I usually ask them, well, are you really firm on your price, or is there a little bit of flexibility? What do you hear most of the time? You know, we'll give a couple of $1,000 concession. All right, so now I'm down to let's say $290, okay? Now, with closing costs and all that, I'm gonna calculate their net. So now watch this. Same house. Remember, we said they're not gonna sell for the same as the comps, right? They're gonna get discounted. But what if I say, Jim, and I can appreciate that. You guys wanna walk away with about $290,000 plus we're gonna pay off your mortgage. What if there was a possibility that you could walk away with about the same amount or maybe even more, even after you paid the commission? Would you consider it? And that means no headaches, no hassle of showing the house. We would take over everything, including the marketing costs, promotions. I would take care of everything to make sure you pocket as much as possible, enjoy the lovely home in Florida. Would you consider it? And they would ask, well, how would you do it? So here is how we would do it. If I know they're at 290, what is my difference? About 3%, right? So here's my question. Would one of the options be, can I add the 9,000 on top of that? In other words, with the right marketing and higher volume of good qualified buyers, with the help of a multiple listing, with the help of promotions like open house, a little bit of Facebook advertising, all of that, do you think in a high demand market, you could sell that house instead of 300 for 309? Maybe it will take an extra week, 2, 3 weeks, but it's possible. So simply, one of the solutions would be add that 3% to the sales price. And now the seller is walking away with about the same, assuming that they would still try to sell for the same amount, which in many cases they don't. I challenge you guys, do a little bit of your homework, do some research, and find out, your title company can help you with that, or RPR can help you with that. There are resources and databases that can give you that information. Compare the sales prices of for sale by owners and listed homes. And in most cases, in my area, there is a discrepancy. There's a little bit of a gap. Now, you can compensate with adding a few $1,000s to the sales price. We are in an appreciating market. My area here increased about 10% over the last 12 months. That's about $80,000. So if the market is appreciating, I would feel pretty safe adding $9,000 to it. Not to mention, what is 9,000 divided by 12 divided by 30? To a buyer, the difference is what? $20, $30, something like that, with 2.9% interest rates. It's nothing. So if I could market this property aggressively, if I can offer it to a pool of buyers and I tell them, look, you can have this for extra 20, 30 bucks, 40 bucks, something like that. Wouldn't there be one buyer who says, yeah, I like that, I want to go for it? Think about it. There is always a solution. Not to mention, you're going to handle all of that stuff for you. You're going to take away that headache, that stress, all of that. Start thinking what's best for the seller. What is best for them? They're better off with you. And they're going to put more in their pocket with you. And you're going to make it smoother for them. And you're going to make it safer for them. And very often, you're going to make it faster for them, where they don't have to deal with all kinds of flippers, all kinds of speculators, all kinds of shysters. How to like them apples. Scott says, needed to rewatch this many, many times. Scott, you don't have to. Just come to the bootcamp. I'll teach you this. It is not that hard. Once you have the authority and trust, this is essential, guys. None of this will work if they don't trust you, if they don't like you, if they don't respect you, if they don't see you as an authority. That's why it's important to have that first module in place. We're going to spend the first week of bootcamp building that. They will not hear or understand this or believe you if you first don't position yourself as the authority. But once you do, this makes perfect sense. I mean, doesn't it make sense to you? Am I making stuff up that is illogical or made up or is trying to manipulate somebody? This is reality. This is math. This is logic. So I replace their fear, I replace their emotions and very, very often skewed perception with simple facts that even a layman, even a civilian seller would go, that kind of makes sense. And if I do this with an intention to really help them, I mean, yes, I'm very transparent. I want to get paid. That's why I'm going to add the commission there. But this helps everybody. This helps a good buyer to find a nice house. This helps the seller to sell and move and get on with their life. This helps another agent to feed their family, helps to feed my family. Everybody wins. There is no downside to this. Nobody loses in this scenario where if they go for sale by owner, somebody's got to lose. Somebody's going to give something. And somebody's going to be mildly annoyed with the outcome. And I will teach you how to do that. Now, there is one thing that this whole hinges on. You've got to believe you're their best choice. You've got to be convinced that you're their best choice. Because if you don't believe that there is nobody else who can help them more than you, if you don't believe that they're in much better help, they're in much better hands with you than anyone else, all doing it on their own, how do you expect them to believe? It has to come from within. That's where that confidence comes from. That's that skill where I know this stuff and I know the communication, I know the language, I own the influence. This is an actual book I wrote on influence. How not to be salesy, how to share this information with people without them feeling resentful or scared like you're trying to sell them or manipulate them. That's the secret. Because friends, this is what happens with for sale by owners. Do your homework. Check. I encourage you, don't just take my word for it. I've done my homework in my area, you do yours. Some will sell on their own. Nothing you can do about that. Some will never sell, some will rent it out, some will list with another agent. That kind of sucks, but it happens. But where the money is some will list with you. And I will show you that you can convert 25% of FSBOs who you put on your follow-up. Why? Because it makes more sense to list with you, because it is safer, and because you know how to do it. You have a system. But you have to go in with the right expectations. You cannot go in saying, how can I fuck this up, or it's not going to work, or this is bullshit, and FSBOs are assholes. If you do that, then I can't help you. You have to have a different mindset where you expect to get leads. And this is so important. This is the foundation of your success. You're going in thinking, I'm going to get some listings, I'm going to help some people, I'm going to make money. I mean, that's what the other agents are doing. There are no other secrets. How do you think we closed 6.8 million transactions last year? A bunch of agents are getting paid. The reason you're not is either you don't have the systems or you don't have the skill. I can give you both. Because that's what separates those who make the money. They built a system. That's what the whole Borino, which is the book I wrote on FSBOs, is all about. This is what the system looks like. I can show you. Camera 2, fancy schmancy. It's a step-by-step process. I have one for expireds, I have one for FSBOs. You just follow the steps. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's been invented. That's what the FSBO system. Now, normally you can buy this for $3.95. Some of you have it. Yay! Appreciate you as a client. You guys are awesome. And I'll show you today you can get it free. It's going to be part of the bootcamp. I have an invitation for you. Come join us for the bootcamp. We're going to start on January 20th. I will walk you through the entire system step by step, how to turn these people into listings, how they need your help, they don't even know it. Everything is included. How to first approach them with texts, with emails, with simple calls. 2-minute conversation will get you appointments like you saw the evidence a little while ago. How to build trust and relationship with them, these short little visits. 10-minute visit, ask some questions, qualify them, and while you do that, you start building your authority. That is so important, where you're not perceived as a salesperson. You're an advisor. You're a guide. And then how to turn those visits into follow-up and then later contracts. Now, today it would look like that, right? We have to be safe, so be safe. This, of course, is all within the realm of the restrictions we have today. That's where the money is. It's a 3-step process. Connection, conversation that builds the trust and relationship all the way to a contract. So on session 1, we're going to deploy powerful marketing tools. First, we're going to build these marketing tools together. Nothing too complicated or fancy or expensive. Pretty simple stuff. It's copy-paste, letters, text, and emails you're going to use. I will show you that a productive schedule requires maybe 60 minutes of work. This is not like days and days and days of slavery and labor. None of that. No. 60 minutes in most cases. What's important is for you to understand human behavior. That's where the power of influence and persuasion really lies. Is in your ability to understand someone. Why are they saying it? Why are they reacting this way? What's going on in their head? And you will discover insights about them that even they are not aware of. How their behavior is fear-driven, how it's programmed, how it's very often habitual reactions that are triggered by certain words or certain phrases or certain behavior that agents demonstrate, and then they're surprised, well, what's going on? These people are weird or cold or stupid. They're not. It's just you cannot trigger these. You need to influence and persuade instead, and you will learn how to do that. Pretty powerful stuff, which, by the way, you will be able to use not just on FSBOs. You can use it on all the prospects. It's very powerful. I use it on my kids. All right? Session 2, we're going to be all about the first contact, how to deploy it where you, from the very beginning, you're not trying to convince them, sell them, influence them, manipulate them, none of that. You're simply curious, you're starting a conversation. We're going to deploy it on text, email, and call. Set up appointment, the whole conversation shouldn't take more than 2 minutes. And you're going to get very good at it. Then, questions to ask. The power of your connection with them is in your ability to have conversations. The best conversation is when you ask the right questions. You also need to ask them the right way, without being salesy or without being needy, like low status where you really try to suck up to them. How to have a non-salesy influence and persuasion. This is based on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, psychology, even hypnosis. Nothing weird, don't worry. You're not going to stare in their eyes and go, oh, you're very sleepy right now. But it's a very powerful stuff. Session 3 is about follow-up. And this will be follow-up where you're not just an annoying pest as most other agents. They will actually look forward to talking with you. Because now they have a trusted ally who can guide them and help them, and who genuinely cares about them. And you're going to demonstrate it. You're not going to tell them. You will show them. And then we're going to transition into a listing appointment. And this can happen very quickly. Sometimes it happens on the first meeting. When their urgency is high, their motivation is high, you discover IOIs, indicator of interest. These are those little signals. They will never come out and say, come on down, list our house, please help us. That's not, if it does, more power to you, but it hasn't happened. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've trained 100,000 agents and I'm still waiting. But there'll be these little indicators. When you start noticing them, you will start shifting towards what I call plan B. No resistance close. It's not even a close. It's just like a logical conclusion because, as you saw here, it just makes more sense, doesn't it? Where you're going to demonstrate without selling. I'm the best choice. I have your best interest at heart. This just makes way more sense, not just to your pocketbook, but to your quality of your life. Because you're wasting it, you're stressed, it doesn't make sense. Okay? Then session 4, on week 4, you're going to learn how to solve all of the objections and stalls. How you notice that many of them are not because they say something and you react. If you set up the beginning, where your authority and trusted advisor at the beginning, a lot of these objections at the end just disappear. Because what they're really saying is not what they're saying. What they're really saying is, we don't trust you. That's what many objections really mean. They're stalling. So if you establish trust at the beginning, you don't need to worry about it at the end. You're going to set up win-win scenarios like this one. This is win-win for everybody. There's no downside to it. The buyer gets a great house for a good price. The seller gets to sell and move on with their life. You get paid. Maybe another agent gets paid. Everybody wins. You're going to learn how to deal with discounters. We're going to put in MLS for $4.95. Why that's a bad deal for the seller. Why think, again, they're better off with you. How to deal with iBuyers, instant offers. Hot demand, where they're really getting a lot of good qualified buyers through the house in some cases. And the COVID restrictions. That's the reality of today, and it's going to be like this for, God knows, maybe a year or so. Who knows? So I'll show you how you can adapt your communication and your presentation. I will show you an actual listing presentation beginning first about 10 minutes where we address all these. Again, you don't sweep it under the rug. Oh, there are no iBuyers. Zillow instant offers? No, does not exist. Don't worry about it. No, you bring it up. And if the seller is concerned, in most cases they are aware of it, they know what it is, or at least have an idea. But very often that idea is skewed. They think it's a better deal. And again, if you present facts, and if you back it up by trust and understanding that what they're looking for is the best solution for them, you're going to win them over. Why wouldn't you? and then a 3 listings a month plan. How you can deploy this and on a very predictable basis generate at least 3 listings. Okay? This normally sells for $1,000. It's $997. You don't have to pay that much today. Don't worry about it. We have a special package, 2021 start of the year package, where here's what you're going to get. You're going to get the Borino system. That's this. You're going to get this book in the mail. That's actually a book. You're going to get all these maps. You're going to get these marketing materials. These are downloadable, of course, so you can print them. Looks like this. You're going to customize them, put your information on it, boom, instant authority. So that's part 1. This sells right now for $397. There are the instructions, the objection crusher, follow-up sequences, quick start video course. So if you like to study at your own pace, this is yours to keep. So that's part 1. Part 2, you're going to get this. This is called the core influence. I wrote a book on influence. How to use the language communication to build trust and connection with people, because you already know they will do business with you because they like you, trust you, and respect you. This is the way. You're going to get these index cards. These are not scripts, by the way. These are dialogue outlines, so you don't have to ever memorize anything. This is not about memorizing scripts. That would just make you sound like everybody else. This is for you to remember how to control the conversation without being pushy or needy. Okay? So you're going to get this whole stack. Study it. You're going to be unstoppable. You're going to be a total rock star. This program sells for $297. There is a language of persuasion and influence. You're going to master it. It really is not a matter of talent. It's a matter of skill. And you're going to see how to do that. How to build rapid trust and connection. Because if you wait too long, if you linger too long, they're going to go with somebody else or sell on their own and lose money, as you saw that. Latest prospecting and follow-up conversations. This is based on conversation prospecting, where they feel like they're being treated with respect, they're treated with kindness and willingness to help. This melts resistance more than anything else. There's nothing clever about it. It comes from the heart, from compassion. So that's part 2. And then part 3 is, I call this the Netflix of real estate. This is the Listing University. It's a private membership site where if you want to join, it's $1,164 per year membership. You're going to get it free. I figured might as well. I'm going to make it a crazy package for you, right? So you have the latest tips and strategies on getting leads, getting clients, getting commissions, online, offline. There are buyer strategies, seller strategies. There are over 100 separate coaching sessions, interview, insights, hot seats. Binge on it. Really immerse yourself. This will make you better. You can learn things like how to find off-market properties. If you have a seller, for example, who says, dude, we want to sell, but we can't find the right house. I will give you 10 very specific strategies with marketing examples you can deploy to find these sellers, find off-market properties for your clients right now. There are buyer strategies, Facebook strategies, follow-up strategies, tons more stuff. It's really good. Watch this daily. Get on that. And we post new content every week. So, the FSBO Bootcamp, this is the bonus package. You're going to get 4 live interactive sessions. We're starting on Wednesday, January 20th at noon Eastern Time. All of these are, of course, recorded. So if you want to go back, we keep them posted for at least 30 days, minimum. But the videos of the Borino, you will have forever. These are recorded. If you want to go back, rewatch it, study it at any time, you're welcome to. January 20th. Now, I'm only accepting 50 students. Now, I apologize for this. It says 50, but about half is already sold out. I want to keep the group small, so this way you get to ask questions. You get to interact. If you run into a problem or a situation or an objection where you need help, there's plenty of time, there's plenty of space, so you feel like you have an intimate access to me where whatever you need, I will provide. I will stay with you until this works for you. I will not stop until you understand the system, you have it implemented. Not perfect. We're not going for perfection. We're going for profitable, where it's working, okay? I expect 2 listings minimum during the bootcamp. Now, some of you will crush it. Some of you will do more than that. But 2 is the minimum. We will set up a plan where this is the minimum. Now, yes, I will show you the 3 listings every month. But during our time together, why is that? Because I want this to pay for the tuition and make you profit very quickly, okay? Plus, you're going to get the $1,858 bonus pack, and we threw a 60-day money-back guarantee. So if for whatever reason you feel like this is not for me, here's your money. Groovy? Now, how much is it? It's not $97. If you go to goborino.com/FSBO, we price it at $497. That's it. You get the bonus package, you get the bootcamp, you get access to me for $497. Go to goborino.com/FSBO. Please sign up. We need to ship you the materials. We need to get you everything. We need to set you up before we can get started. We're starting on January 20th. This will make a strong 2020 for you. That is the idea. One of my students, Mr. Nathan, update, a month ago I got 6 listings from a FSBO, average price $400,000. Not bad. Today the last one goes up on the market. These were not easy, as all have long-term tenants who are not happy moving. I've been navigating through that. As of right now, I have 3 of their 6 under contract. Boom. Now is the time for me to join the challenge. You all the path are motivating me to keep up the great work. It does require work, but think about it. If it's difficult for an agent, how challenging is something like this for the seller? If you come in and help them, you can score a lot of business. Not to mention, they will buy from you maybe. Maybe they will send you referrals. Maybe you can double end that listing. There are all kinds of opportunities to make money. If last year we closed 6.8 million transactions, we're going to do probably about the same with the demand the way it is now, with the interest rates as low as they are now. About the same. Wouldn't that be great if a big chunk of that was yours? Of course. Build the lifestyle you want. I have this invitation for you because I know this can change not just your business and your income, but your life. How you're looking at your business, how you see the opportunities all around you. How you see that these people are people who really don't know what they're doing, don't know how to go about it, go in very blindly and very often very uneducated, who don't understand the basic math. That they are in fact losing money, that the buyers are savvy and will not pay them the commission that they think they can save in pocket. Where there are solutions and alternatives, that everybody wins. And I will teach you how to do that. Yes? So Edwin, to answer your question, the course is $497, including the bonus pack. That's all yours. Oh, good question. Sue would like to know, what if the sales price is already high? Very good question. What I'm basing these numbers on are not the seller's expectation or the seller's list price. Why? Because the seller doesn't set the list price, Sue. Who does? The market, the buyer. So if the FSBO is asking $400,000, I cannot base it on $400,000. I cannot base it on what they think it's worth. You know what I mean? I can only base it on what the market is. But I don't bring this up in advance. I bring this up during the listing presentation, where I have enough trust and authority already established. So if you have a for sale by owner who is overpriced, or if you have a for sale by owner who really doesn't know what's going on in the market, which is very often the case, right? Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about the price. What I'm worried about is their urgency and their motivation, Sue. Because if they're realistic as far as moving, if they have a solid plan in place, if they have a high urgency, if they have a strong emotional drive, what I call the core drive and emotion, you're going to study that in the core influence, then the price doesn't matter, because the house is going to sell what the house is going to sell. I need to make sure there's a buyer willing to pay that much and there's a bank willing to appraise that. That's it. So I'm going to base my numbers on the market. Now we are in an upshift market, so I can build a little bit of a buffer because I know it's going up, like I said, in my area, give or take about 1% a month. And if they're outrageously overpriced, I don't question the price, I question the motivation. Because sometimes, as you've experienced, I'm sure, it goes hand in hand. If they have a year to get the property sold, I don't want to work with sellers like that. I want sellers who want to do it now. I want sellers who are nice and realistic. Make sense? Don't worry about the price. Worry about the motivation. The fact that they're overpriced just makes the FSBO more desirable. Because if I have evidence that they don't know what they're doing and they're asking too much, there's a good chance they're not going to sell on their own. But if they're so motivated, I can work with that. I can help them. Do not discuss your price and your commission until the listing appointment. That is the general rule. All right, Sue? Here it is. Question from Mr. Edwin. Would you send FSBO postcards too? You can, Edwin, yes. They are a good part of the marketing mix. I mean, don't let the direct mail do the heavy lifting for you. That will help. The magic happens in conversation. But in those, would I include postcards? Yes. Especially if you listed a property or sold a property or a market update, you can put a little marketing piece together. Absolutely, because it demonstrates your competence. It shows to the seller that you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk, you're getting shit done. And more importantly, there is a law. The law of compliance means if one person hired you to get the job done, you're now making the FSBO inclined to do the same. People observe and very often follow the actions of others. That's why we have reviews on Amazon, reviews on Yelp, reviews on Zillow. People read those. Why? Because they want to see what everybody else is doing. Does that make sense? So if I send a postcard, I'm not only demonstrating I sold this, I got the job done, but I'm also sending a message somebody else hired me, you should hire me too. So do include those. Absolutely. That's a very good question. Okay, so my friends, sign up for the bootcamp. Would love to have you. We have a few spots left. We're starting on January 20th. It's going to be a great class. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be helpful. It's going to break down the entire system step by step, where you're not going to be responding emotionally, reacting emotionally. You're going to have a logical approach to this step by step. You already saw hundreds of opportunities in most markets. You already saw that these people need help. You clearly saw that with the right approach, many of them end up listing. Ask yourself this: what's holding you back? Is it just the old habitual thinking, well, I can spend $497 right now? You know, that's not the real answer. The reason I teach this as a boot camp is because I didn't just want to send you the book and hope that you're going to use it, hope that you're going to read it and implement it. The reason I do it as a boot camp is because at the end of every session, I will crack my whip, give you some homework, nothing back-breaking, nothing out of the ordinary, but you will slowly build the system, honing your skills while you're doing it. Because that's the fastest way to get listings anyway. You with me? So you're going to get it done. So by the time we're done, it's not just here, but it's already implemented. And then as you go, you're going to make it your own. You're going to personalize it. You're going to tweak it. You're going to adapt it to your personality, your market, and your goals. Where some of you will be happy with a listing a month. That's fine. No judgment. It's up to you. And some of you say, well, fuck no, I want one a week. Good. We'll just build a plan around it. And if there are FSBOs in your area, you will learn how to convert them. You will know what is the process, how to find them, how to approach them, build relationship, build connection, follow up, bam, listing. All right, go to goborino.com/FSBO, sign up for it. Would love to have you. Okay. When does the boot camp begin again? It begins on January 20th, which is a Wednesday. We have a live session. It's the Zoom session. They usually run about 70 minutes, give or take 80 minutes, depending on how many questions I get. Recording is usually posted within a day. You could go back, you can watch it again. I encourage you guys, come to the live session. It's a different energy, it's a different dynamic when you're there live. We get to interact, I get to review your questions, I get to answer your questions, we get to chat. Do the best you can. If you miss one, not the end of the world, go back and rewatch it. I will also point out, go here, do this, download that, here is how you do it. And then, of course, any issues, any situations you run into, we're going to analyze it, and I'm going to give you some solutions. Okay? Never have to memorize anything. There's no script learning, none of that. You will know your outlines so you can control the conversations. You will know, if they say this, here's how I respond. If they ask this, here's how I respond. What you're going to notice, once you get the hang of it, that there are only usually about 4 or 5 different things the FSBO will say. Most of them we covered here today in some shape, in some form. It's not going to change a whole lot. And once you develop that high status approach, suddenly you will feel a whole new level of respect they're going to give you, and also they will be more authentic with you. They will not be afraid to ask you personal questions about their finances and their situation because they trust you. They know you're not going to try to sell them on anything. They're not, you know they're not getting manipulated or judged, which very often is a good angle to take, especially if they say, well, I have a close family member. And if we're going to list, we're going to list with them. One of the solutions there that I offer during the conversation is, well, you know, how comfortable are you disclosing very intimate financial information to your relative? And are you willing to put that relationship in jeopardy? I know I wouldn't, but it's up to you. I'm not here to convince you. Okay? That's one of the angles you can take. That's one of the solutions. Again, I'm just offering facts. Like, I have a dear family. I love my brother. I love my mom. But there are certain things I'm not so sure I want them to know about, if you know what I mean. Yes? All right. Michael would like to know Wednesday through Saturday the 23rd. No, Mike, it's weekly. Good question. Thanks for asking this. We're starting on Wednesday the 20th. One session on Wednesday, you're going to get your homework, you're going to study, and then you go out and actually do it. There'll be different homework, different implementation assignments. And then we're going to get together another Wednesday. So this way we spread it out so that you don't feel so overwhelmed, but you also start using it, you start implementing it. So it'll be 4 weekly sessions, okay? All right. Jordan says, excellent, thank you. Sue says, yes, good. I answered when we're starting. All right, friends, so are we good? Are you going to sign up? Of course you are, right? We'd love to have you. It's a good class. By the way, we sell out every single time. Every single time is we sell it out. So let me put here in the comments the URL, https goborino.com/FSBO. Get the package. You're going to get this in the mail from us. A nice package will arrive from us. Welcome package with these 2 books. And the dialogue cards, you can jump on it if you want. The Listing University will be instantly available to you. And then I will talk to you on January 20th on our first weekly session in the FSBO Bootcamp. Yes, I'm excited to teach it. I'm excited you're going to join us. I'm excited that 2021 can be your year. Think about it. With the right system and the right skill, sky's the limit. If you start believing that, then the only question you're going to ask yourself is, how do I get there? How do I get there? What is my next step? I'm offering the next step. I've been teaching this for many, many years, taught over 100,000 of you. Many of you become great rock stars, and it's so much pleasure and so much fun to watch you grow, build your business, serve your clients, make money, and have that freedom that you're after. Have it on your terms. Have it the way you want it to have. All right, friends, time to wrap it up. Time to enjoy the Saturday. Sign up for the bootcamp. I'll see you all on the inside. My name is Borino. I'm your coach. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching this today. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you on January 20th in our bootcamp. goborino.com/FSBO. I'll see you there. Ciao. Bye, everybody.